Hi people, my name is Stacy Hazlitt. I'm not a Bigfoot researcher. I'm here to attest to the events that have happened to me and my family over a period of about 10 years. I have events that go back to 1971, but for right now we'll just settle for the next 10 years. We've had a lot of things happen with the Bigfoots in our home. And not very many people are ever going to believe this story. What I'm willing to do, I am willing to submit myself to anybody who has a polygraph, wants to do a polygraph test on me, to verify that what I'm stating is truthful coming from my mouth. The things I'm about to tell people are almost unbelievable. I've lived them. I don't hardly believe them myself, but I know what happened. We were befriended by a Bigfoot clan, and it's worked out real well for us. We're real happy with them. But there's a lot of things I see in the videos going on today that have driven me to make this video. We have kept this kind of quiet for a while. We haven't really talked to many people about it. And ones we've talked to about it, they don't believe it. I've talked to some other Bigfoot researchers and they just look at me like I got two heads. So now that I've seen the videos I've seen, people have to understand what's really going on. I've seen videos from where the military has went out and killed Bigfoots. That's uncalled for. People have to have an understanding of them. We have been with them for, like I say, we've communicated with them for about 10 years, and it's still ongoing. Where we live at one time was about 3,000 acres of woods. When this all started, we had a lot of woods around us. Now they've strip mined around us, taken a lot of the woods out, so we don't have as much communication with them as we used to. But they still get in touch with us. I want people to know their abilities are far, far beyond ours. There's some videos and some statements made by a lot of people that will pretty much well coordinate with what I'm wanting to tell people. But everybody needs to know this. This whole thing started with me back in 1971. I used to have a shop that had a lot of bikers hanging around in it. We did a lot of motorcycle work there and stuff. And one afternoon, the broadcast come on. It said that in a place called Murfield, it was in Dublin, Ohio, they were putting in the golf course out there where they have big famous golf games out there. And I think it's a Memorial Day tournament they have out there. But when they was building that, there was tornadoes come out through there, and the broadcast come out talking about the tornadoes. And then at the end of this broadcast on the radio, the announcer said, "Oh, we have another report here of a security guard out in this Murfield," because watching the construction stuff, I guess, I don't know. But the security guard reported that there was a big hairy monster running around. You know, and I kind of chuckled at it when I heard it. But one of the guys that hung out with us was an Air Force brat. He grew up with his father in the Air Force. His claim to fame was he took a dump in every state in the Union. And what he said, he jumped right up. He said, "Oh, I know what that is." He says, "That's a Sasquatch." And all I can say is, what the hell's a Sasquatch? I ain't never heard of it before. Back in 71, I never heard of none of this. So he kept pestering me. Well, let's go look out there. Let's go look out there. Let's go see if we can find it. And like, I'm really not interested, but okay, I'll go see the blowed up barns and the stuff the tornadoes tore up. So we take a ride. We go out to Murfield and run around that area, which I did not know real well. So we go out and we run around the area, up and down a lot of roads. We did see a lot of barns tore up, see a lot of damage by tornadoes. As we're going down one road, I don't know the name of it, I never named it back then. But anyway, we're going down this one road, and it's farmland on both sides of us. And as we're coming up the road, I noticed this one farmland off to our left, there was a brook running up to the road and going under a culvert under the road to the other side, going into the other farmland. Well, as I took a quick glance up, I seen a circle of trees out in the middle of this farmland. No idea why anybody would just leave a circle of trees in the middle of the farmland. Take it all out, farm all the land, for all I knew. Anyway, all of a sudden, something hit me. Now, understand, I had no interest in finding this critter, whatever he called a Sasquatch. No interest whatsoever. But all of a sudden, I stopped the little Volkswagen, and I said, "Come on, Bill, let's go look at this." So we got out of the car, and we went walking down through the brook, down through this farmer's land. I don't know who he was, but we went walking through his land, and we got about maybe 200 feet into the brook, walking down the brook, and there was a big smudge in the brook. It was about that wide, about that long. You can only see that it was a smudge in the brook. You could not see the footprint, but we seen the smudge. And Bill looked at it and he said, "Oh, that's a footprint." And I said, "Well, it's a smudge. I don't know about a footprint." He said it was a footprint. So we walked on up into the group of trees. Now, what got my attention was, if I was a big animal hiding from people, there's a hiding place and there's a supply of water. So we go in this group of trees, walking around, and I'm looking on the ground for any kind of thing I could find in the way of poop or anything laying on the ground. Didn't look right. Now, my interest has got all intense over this Bigfoot, and for no reason. I don't know why. I had no thought of it whatsoever, but it just hit me. So, as we're walking around looking for anything we could see, I happened to look up and notice the tree in the center of all these trees was a mulberry tree. Okay. On this mulberry tree, I've never seen one as thickly fruited in my life. I've seen a lot of mulberry trees. These fruits were like on top of each other, just clumped. I've never seen one like it. Maybe that's why they saved the tree. I don't know. But anyway, as I look up, I'm looking at the tree, and I look up, and I got dumbfounded. Just as I could stand up and reach and touch, as high as I could reach, there was a band about 2.5 foot wide that went completely around that tree that was picked clean. There was mulberries above it, mulberries below it. And I'm dumbfounded. And only thing I could see is something up in that area going around and stripping the mulberries off that height. Birds would have ate them all, top to bottom. The deer couldn't get that high, I don't think. So it just left me dumbfounded. So we left the area, and we went back and we talked at the shop, told everybody what we found. There was not too much more thought about it. So that, I think, was my first encounter, and I will explain that to you in a later video. It's hard to just tell you right now without going into a lot of details. This period of time has went from 1971 till today. This is a never-ending story for me, because we still live with the Bigfoots. They still contact us. We're still in touch with them. It's hard for me to explain the feelings we get when they're around. They make you feel different. They make you feel good. They bring you into their family. They've never tried to harm anybody. I'm not saying there's not Bigfoots out there that don't harm somebody or won't harm somebody. I don't know. But I know we've had real good relations with them. And I know there's other people that have had good relations with the Foots that come by our house. And I'll get into that in other videos. But this is an ongoing story. And as I go along with these stories, I'm also writing a book. So I want to put a lot of this in the book, because I'm going to put a lot in the book that I can't go over all this with you in here, but I will put it out in the book. But anything that I am telling you, I am totally willing to take a polygraph test, and anybody who wants to submit me to a polygraph test, they have to promise and assure me that the results will be publicized as to what happened for this polygraph test. I want people to understand I'm not making anything up. I'm not lying. I'm not off my rocker. Back in 1970, I had to go through some family things and had to have an IQ test done. Me and my first wife are in the top 90 percentile of the nation for our IQs. I'm not an unintelligent person. Not very educated, didn't make it to school, but that's a different story. But the point being is, I'm not off the hook with this. This is actual factual things that are, my concern is to let everybody know, and you understand all the reasoning behind it as I go along with this story. So I don't know how much farther I can go right now. I've got to sit down and get my thoughts in order to let you know what's going on. This is really involved, really involved. Goes very deep. What people have to understand is the Foots are way beyond us. Their mental capacities and abilities go far beyond us. They communicate telepathically. They've communicated telepathically with me, with Sharon, with Josh, which you'll know who they are in the future videos. It's a really wild thing, and I'm not any good at this kind of thing. I have a hard time making this computer work, do what I want it to do. I'm not a computer guy, but I will do my best to get this across to you. I have to go over some of these things. Everything we're doing, we have to do out of memory. You know, me and Sharon have talked about all the things that went on. We have to go over through everything in memory. We're trying to get the logistics of what happened from one weekend to the next weekend, which weekends come first. And I want to tell a story as straight up, and well, it's all going to be truthful. The events are definitely truthful, but the timing of them could be off because we're getting confused in when they did certain things. It's hard for us to do this, but it has to be done. People have to know what we're doing so they can understand what some of the Foots are about. And for as far as I know, most of the Foots. Yeah, but I can explain that all to you later. So thanks for listening. I'll get back with you as soon as possible and try to explain some more to you. And I just want people to understand that the Foots they're human too. They don't need to be shot up and killed by the military or anything else. They just need to be dealt with in a proper way. So, thank you.